It's the Happy Families Podcast. It's the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now.
So a goal is really something where if you do it, you can tell that it's been done.
And now here's the stars of our show, my mum and dad.
Hello, this is Dr. Justin Coulson, the author of 6 books about raising happy families, and I'm here with my wife, Kylie, Mrs. Happy Families, mum to our 6 daughters.
You know, I don't know what it is really about the new year and this idea of setting goals and New Year's resolutions, but
Fresh slate, clean slate, whatever it is, fire up. Don't you get excited by that?
I actually do.
Yeah.
And I sit down and I, map out how I want the year to look, and
I'm going to be so much better this year than last year.
so much better. And it does. It's literally like it is. It's this fresh page. And I get to decide what it looks like.
You've got a brand new calendar.
I do have a brand new calendar and a new diary, and I'm raring and ready to go.
Yeah.
And so I've sat down and I've written down the things that I want to achieve this year.
Awesome.
But the problem is that usually what happens
by January the 4th. How are you going, by the way? I mean, we're almost at the end of January. How are you going with your New Year's resolutions?
I have kicked butt with a couple of them, and
Yeah.
I have completely missed the mark with some of them.
Wow. Okay. So let's do this podcast about how we can actually make our New Year's resolutions work. Let's talk about how we can have the psychological secrets to having the best year ever.
That sounds awesome.
Okay.
I have got friends who love setting goals, and I've got friends that absolutely hate it.
Yep.
I think the problem is understanding what a goal is.
A goal is a form of self-regulation that we adopt to achieve a specific outcome. And ideally, so let me go over that very carefully. First of all, goals require self-regulation because we're working towards something that we're currently not. And that's why a lot of people don't like goals, by the way, because if you're setting a goal, it means I'm not enough as I am. I don't have a problem with that. I think we should always be reaching for more, trying to be better. I'm cool with that. But it's a specific aim that we're working towards. And this is where a lot of people fall down with the goals. So they say, I want to have a goal of being healthy. But there's nothing specific about being healthy. Like health exists on a continuum. So we need to work out what it is to be healthy.
So I have a goal that I want to attend the gym 3 times a week.
Okay, so that's really specific. That's absolutely specific. It's completely measurable. So a goal is really something where if you do it, you can tell that it's been done.
So do I have to wait till the end of the year to say I've achieved that goal?
Well, if you've said I want to go to the gym every day, 3 times a week until the end of the year, then yes, you have to wait until the end of the year.
Okay.
So it depends on the time frame that you want to put on it. Whereas if you say I want to set a goal to be healthy, there's nothing specific about that. There's nothing time-bound about it. There's nothing specifically measurable about it. Healthy in relation to what? So
Okay.
a goal is saying I'm going to regulate my behavior towards a specific end at a particular time. That's really what we're talking about with goals. So the goal, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week, that's a goal.
So I want to complete my certificate 3.
Ah, yes, that's right, because today's the day.
Today is the day.
You're heading off to TAFE for the first time in a couple of decades.
Oh.
Yeah, so you want to, okay, and you'll have a time that's allocated. You want to get
It's a 6-month course, so
Yep.
I want to finish it in 6 months' time.
Great. So that's a specific goal. It's measurable. You'll know when you've done it, and you've got a time associated with it. Okay. So that's what a goal is.
So I want to do my morning devotional time. That's something that I struggle with. I do it on and off, and sometimes I'm awesome at it and sometimes I'm not. So that includes my affirmations. It includes, some self-development reading. It includes
Spiritual practice.
Yeah.
And so what you're saying there, is that a goal?
Yes.
Well, it could be or it might not be. So if you were to say, I want to set a goal that I want to do this thing every single day for the next 3 months or the next 12 months or for the rest of my life, then yes, that can be a goal, but it's kind of non-specific. Yes, you can tell that you've done it. You either tick the box or you don't. And yes, it is measurable in that you've got that clear indication that it's either been completed or not, but it's not really time-bound, because what we're really talking about here is there's an intersection between goals and habits. So habits are something that they're a behavior that we repeat automatically. We're in a certain situation and we simply do something almost without thinking. In fact, often without thinking, because it's become a habit.
So when we create new habits, they start off as goals though?
Well, sometimes they start off because we're not thinking about anything at all, and it just becomes our habitual way of responding. So let's say you've got the habit of snapping every time your partner asks you to take the bin out. or getting cranky every time your partner leaves the towel on the floor in the bathroom. That just becomes a habit. You roll your eyes and say, oh, for goodness sakes, I can't believe they've done it again. And that's just your habitual response, which compounds over time. So a goal has to be specifically chosen. A habit doesn't have to be specifically chosen. A habit's just what we do automatically. But you can set a goal to create better habits. So have you got any habits that you want to kick off this year?
Well, my routine.
Your routine. Okay, so that morning routine is everything.
I really notice that my day goes better when I spend that time on me first thing in the morning. But I often get caught up in the fact that that's the best time for me to do the other things in my life. Like
mornings are the best.
Yes.
So many things that you want to get done in the morning.
Can I have more mornings?
That's right. It's tricky, isn't it? And then, of course, you've got goals. So there's a handful of things that get in the way of being successful with either our habits or our goals. Now that we know the difference between the two, there's three, well, there's a whole lot of things, but I reckon it's worth focusing on three things. I actually talked to Year 12 students about this, three things that get in the way of achieving success in laying down effective habits and achieving goals. Let's talk about those 3 Ds that devastate and destroy our habits and goals right after the break.
It's the Happy Families Podcast.
For a happier family, try a Happy Families membership, because a happy family doesn't just happen. Details at happyfamilies.com.au.
It's the Happy Families Podcast, the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now. And we are talking about how to create the best year ever.
Yeah, goals and habits. And before the break, I was talking about 3 things that can really devastate our ability to achieve our goals and set up
You said there were 3
good habits. 3 Ds. So doubt. Doubt is the first one.
Doubt what?
Well, you've got a goal to finish TAFE, for example. You said you want to get that Certificate 3 this year in floristry. You've got 6 months to do it. But doubt is one of the really big, scary things. And a lot of people, they'll set a goal. They know exactly what it is that they want to achieve. It's specific. And you know when you've got it done. They know it's got to be done by this time. But then doubt creeps in. I'm not good enough. I've done that one before. I've tried before, and it's just I'm not that good. Maybe it's a goal to get your mornings right. Maybe it's a goal to stop yelling at the kids. It's always better, by the way, to set your goals in the positive, not the negative. So stop yelling at the kids. That's a negative. Don't set a goal to stop yelling. Set a goal to always be calm with the kids. But when we set these goals, we sometimes doubt. And you know the best way to overcome doubt? It's with another word starting with D.
Of course it is, because you love alliteration.
You've got to decide. Just decide. It's like, oh, should I sign up for the course? Or, oh, should I get my kids to do this? Or just decide. Decision, there's so much power in just making a decision. Once you make the decision, once you hand over your credit card, you're committed. And it's amazing what you achieve when you finally make that decision to commit.
So doing this course has been a really big turning point for me, because I have doubted my capacity to be able to do it in light of everything else that needs to be done in my life.
There you go. You're living into the psychology without even knowing it.
Yes. So I made a decision and I jumped on the bandwagon.
Okay. So, I mean, we're talking about you here, honey, but I mean, this is really applicable to anyone in any situation. If you want to improve your life, if you want to improve your family, you set a goal, but recognize that doubt will creep in. And the best way to overcome doubt is with a decision. Just commit. And by the way, if you do absolutely commit and then you fail, pick yourself up and get on with it the next day. Don't fail 2 days in a row. It's like that goal to exercise 3 times a week at the gym. If you miss and only get 2 this week, then make up for it next week. You don't have to do a 4th day. Just get back on the horse and make sure you get 3 next week. Don't fail multiple days or multiple weeks in a row. So the second D is the D of distraction. Okay, the other thing that gets in the way of our habits and goals is distraction.
So this is a big one for me, especially we talked about the morning routine.
Yes, it is. We have 6 kids, for crying out loud, and Netflix.
If I haven't been great the night before and the house is a bit disarrayed,
yep.
When I get up first thing in the morning and the house is calm, that's the perfect time for me to, get out quickly and create order before the chaos walks out the bedroom doors. And so all of a sudden...
Are you calling our kids chaos before the chaos walks out the bedroom doors? I can't believe you said that. Sorry, kids.
And so all of a sudden that becomes more important than what I actually know creates, groundedness and... the ability to kind of, focus more intently on the things that are important by doing that morning routine?
Well, in the same way that we overcome doubt with a decision, we overcome the dilemma of distraction I can't help myself. With discipline.
So you're saying I'm not disciplined if I decide that the
Yep.
dishes need to be done
much.
first.
Well, the dishes should have been done the night before, let's face it. But yeah, it really comes down to discipline. When you make that commitment, when you make that decision, you've got to be disciplined enough to stick with it. But there are things that you can do to make it easier to be disciplined. Okay.
Like what?
Well, let's say it's the gym. You make sure that you've got your gym clothes out, or you make sure that your schedule is
Hey,
clear.
I get into my gym clothes.
Yes,
I'm
you
wearing
do.
them.
Or you make sure that you do everything that you can to set yourself up to be successful, because that requires less discipline. If you do the work ahead of time and remove the friction, it's easier to step in and follow through to actually move towards that goal, towards that habit being completed.
So you know how much I hate having things on my bedside table.
Yeah.
But my bedside table is now stacked up with the things that I would use for my morning routine.
Right.
So I literally open my eyes and they're
It's
right
all right there.
there.
So you've removed all friction. It's right in front of you. All you have to do is switch on the light, reach out, pick up the first thing, and you're away. And that's what I'm talking about. Because the more you have to rely on discipline and willpower, the less likely it is that you'll be successful.
You know what else I did? That was really cool. I brought this elastic band. I don't even know what you call them, but it goes around all of my books and holds them all in one
Keeps them neat and tidy.
package.
That's right. But the idea here is you just don't want to rely on willpower if you can avoid it, because willpower is lousy. You know, let's say you're trying to get off chocolate.
Let's not talk about chocolate.
Having it in the kitchen is really you're relying on willpower. You're going to fail at about 3:30 in the afternoon or 2:30 in the afternoon. But if you don't have it there, you don't have to rely on willpower.
Are you in the kitchen at 3:30?
I'm just saying. Okay, so we've got 2 Ds, doubt and distraction.
You said there were 3.
You overcome them with such hard work. You overcome them with decision and discipline. But I think that the third D is one of the most challenging ones, and that is when we're trying to set a new goal or create new habits, we kind of get caught up in the drudgery of it. Like eventually it's just hard work. We're really inspired and motivated at the beginning, and then we get to what some psychologists have called the messy middle, where it's just plain hard work. Committed to go to the gym 3 times a week for the rest of the year. Oh, hang on, I've got 11 months to go. It was really inspiring for the first 3 days, but now my body hurts and I'm tired, and I've got a new course that I've signed up for, and my husband's
kids were sick all night.
Husband's traveling, kids were sick, they've got to get to school. How am I going to do it? It's all too hard. And we get into the messy middle of it, and it's just drudgery. It's simply challenging. And so the way we overcome that is we really work on intentional, deep work. That's the answer. You get really committed to it and you say, well, from this point to this point, I'm going to be fully invested. I'm going to work deeply. This is where I'm going to spend my time. And that deep work, whether it's keeping the house clean or whether it's doing the deep inner work of learning how to calm your farm and keep your temper in check, or whether it's doing the deep work that's necessary to get to wherever it is, it doesn't really matter what it is that you're trying to do. It's that deep work, it's that discipline and that decision. Ultimately, it's the decision that gets you there towards those goals to create those habits. You feeling inspired?
Do you know what my word is this year?
Intention.
Yeah. You slipped that in there, didn't you?
I did.
You did.
Yeah, because I'm good like that.
No, I am. I'm feeling great. I think that, number one, understanding what a goal is as opposed to a habit or a routine is really important. And now that I have a really clear picture of what my goals are and what my habits are, will really help moving forward. I'm excited.
Okay, and now I know it's sort of late January and some people have already given up on their goals, but it's not too late to start again. And just you're never going to rise above your systems, your habits. So it's one thing to set a goal, but if you've got lousy habits underpinning the goal, you're never going to get there. You've got to create the habits, and that's really where the answer lies. So good luck. Set some new goals. Create. By the way, don't have more than 2 or 3 goals. Your brain just can't hang on to any more than that. It's simply too much.
Thanks for that coaching session, honey. I'm going to have an awesome year as a result of that.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you do enjoy it, please visit Apple Podcasts and leave a rating and review. It's the reviews that help people to find the podcast and have happier families. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon, and our executive producer is Craig Bruce. For more information about making your family flourish, visit happyfamilies.com.au.